These are our panelists for our finance portion. So in this portion, we're going to talk about how we can solidify our futures financially and how we can get to the back. So I'm going to pass this mic down and have everybody introduce themselves.
Hello, beautiful ladies. Ladies first, always good. Hi, everyone. My name is Yamu. Most people cannot say it in America, but I go by Yamu. I'm a data scientist for CDC, and I'm a real estate investor as well.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Tariq Collins. I'm a founder. I own an accounting firm here in Atlanta.
My name is Stephen Keshi. I run a life insurance enterprise called Rejuveco. Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Johan Hensley. I'm the founder and owner of Miss ACPA, the tax strategy firm, based in Atlanta.
Wonderful, wonderful. Big round of applause for everybody here. So we'll just get right to it. Each one of you comes from a different area of finance: real estate, tax insurance, and wealth management. What's one key principle you live by when it comes to building wealth?
So I'll give you two different frameworks. So I live by ABCs in life. I believe if everybody, and I'll give you a backstory a little bit. So I didn't come from this space of finances. I used to produce events. So I used to produce concerts, award shows, galas. I pivoted into this industry during COVID. And when I pivoted into this industry, I didn't have a lot of money when I started it. But I was able to go from not having a lot of money when I started to running a 7-figure business in 3.5, 4 years. And it's because my mentor gave me a philosophy that I decided to live by. And I believe if everybody uses this philosophy, they'll double and grow their income. I always tell people everybody in the room is 5 doubles away from 7 figures. If the average person in Georgia today makes $50,000 and they double their income the next year, you have $100,000. And if you double your income again, you got 200. And then 400, and then 800, and then 1.6. Well, how do you double your income? First, it's about the mindset. So number one, I go by ABCs of life. A stands for associations. You can only make as much money as the highest income earner in your circle. Because the highest income earner in your circle only knows how to get to a certain income. That's the only resources they can be able to give you. So it's very important that you pay attention to who you hang out with. I urge all of you guys to go home and do a small exercise where you write all your friends down and you do pros versus cons on each of your friends. If the pros outweigh the cons, you have somebody to run with. If the cons outweigh the pros, you might have to take a break for 12 months. It's a hard exercise, but you have to do it. You are who you hang with. B is books. You could be 30 years of age, but have 10,000 years of wisdom. Because if I read a book from someone who took 60 years of life to write, and I can read it in 8 hours, I just gained 60 years of knowledge in 8 hours. It's called advancement. So what you read, you implement. C is conferences, what you guys are doing right now. That's why I have respect for all of you guys. What better place than to build the right relationships than being in a room of people who invested in their identity and invested into their time to come to a conference like this, who are sitting down listening to other people who are doing well. There's no room better than that. So how many conferences are you going on an annual basis? You gotta reinvest back into your identity. So ABCs of life, and I'll leave you with this. We have been conditioned to think about how to grow the wrong way. We have been conditioned to think about how to grow the wrong way. Let me explain. Most people think that to grow, to learn, it's first knowledge. And then once you get enough knowledge, then you're able to increase your skill set. And then once you're able to increase your skill set, then they say you'll increase your habits. And then once you're able to get better habits, they'll say you'll increase your wealth. That's how they teach us. It's the wrong way. First, you have to get the mindset. If you don't have resilience, if you don't have the ability to overcome, if you don't have the ability to separate what's right and what's wrong, if you don't have the ability of self-control, if you don't have those mindset things, you will never increase your habits. See, once you increase your habits, then you can increase your skills, because skills comes from repetition. If you don't have habits, you can't repeat. And then you gain skill. And then knowledge comes. See, when knowledge comes before and you don't have the habits or the mindset, you don't implement the knowledge you get. And most people in America today are professional note takers. So it's very important that you go to areas, places where you can build your mindset. Then you will learn how to pick up the habits. Then you will learn how to increase your skill level. And then you'll be able to retain knowledge. So if I could leave anything in mind, those are the two things, philosophers that I bought into. That was able to hit double my business year by year. Okay, I'll live with it.
Thank you. You make it very difficult to follow up after you. But really, this is a great question that you just asked. And from a practical standpoint, this entire room is essentially full of professionals, very smart folks, business owners. That's one thing that we all have in common. We essentially are breaking barriers, right? We all, for the most part, are African descent, diaspora, so I brought all of you for this. Now, as we progressing in our career, as we creating and building the best app, the bigger business, what are we doing to essentially keep of what we're earning, right? How do we grow wealth? Growing wealth doesn't mean spending 10 hours, 12 hours a day working hard. You want to work hard, but you also want to keep what you are essentially earning. And the best way to approach it is to have a plan. This is where working with professionals like myself or any CPA out there is critical to essentially ensure that you do have ideas, plans, strategy in place to make sure that as you're progressing in your career, as your business is growing, you get to keep most of what you're earning and you do not have to pay taxes. That's one way. Another way of growing wealth consistently is to take a chance. All of us here are already taking a chance. Just by being here in this room, you're taking a chance. You could be somewhere else in the world doing anything else, but you chose to attend this conference, you chose to make new connections. You don't know what's going to come out of it, but from having a positive mindset, something great is going to come out of it. So definitely having a plan, definitely taking a chance, and like you shared earlier, making sure you have the opportunity to educate yourself. Those are the three ways that I can see will essentially help you grow your wealth over time.
These guys made it very difficult. So, well, I'm gonna simply say follow the money, right? Study money. Every day you should be learning. You should be studying, and we should be applying what we learn and study. When we think about wealth, you really have to kind of define what that means for you, because there's so many different definitions of the word depending on who you're talking to. And a lot of that is really knowing yourself. What are you capable of doing? And what do you really want out of life, right? Because me making 7 figures might be somebody's goal, but your goal could also be, I just want to make a few $100,000 a year, right? And so when we're talking about wealth is long lasting, wealth is sustaining, but one thing wealth it does is it's an exchange of value. So if you're not providing value, you will never get wealthy. So if you don't take in value to become valuable, you can never give value, right? And this wealth is an exchange. Whatever you give, you receive. Does that make sense? And so when you think about wealth in that way, that's just exactly how I think about it. I study it and I follow the money. So regardless of the profession, there's somebody that's making a dollar amount that you probably seek. And if you're not following that person, you're doing the wrong things. Does that make sense? And then if you're in an industry where you don't seem that it looks profitable, right? Then we need to start following the money. Find something else that leads us to the dollar amount. But don't make the mistake of chasing money to receive wealth, because you'll never get there. You'll just be chasing money. And there's two different things, right? And so wealth is sustaining, it's long lasting, it's passed down. It's built through principles that you keep. I think about King Solomon's model, right? in the way that he built wealth, his wisdom spoke. So everybody knew who he was based off the actions and what he did, so much that people came to come see him to witness the wisdom that he had, right? And a lot of us want the wealth or the skill set, but we mostly try to portray it or think we have it without actually becoming the person needed to have the value in exchange. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'll leave you with.
Forgot what the question was.
I love
Just
that.
kidding. So I want to tell you a story, right? There's this girl, allegedly, talking about me, but I'm from West Africa, a small country called the Gambia. I'm giving you this story in hope that it inspires you, and it also adds on to what the gentleman has said. My keyword is execution. And by the short story, hopefully short, that you might learn what I meant by execution. I grew up as an orphan. In my culture, a girl child, school is a no-go. By 14, you're ready to get married. In my tribe, by the time you're born, you already know who you're supposed to be married to. So it's like you marry this cousin, or you marry this man. This man might have 2 wives, 3 wives at a time. Doesn't matter. Because the dowry and that's the bridal price has already been paid. You don't have an addition. I happen to be from that culture. My mom passed when I was 2, my dad when I was 11. So my sister had to get married and take us with her to her extended family home in another village. Me and my brother was 5 years older than me. We went through sexual abuse, physical abuse. I'm gonna try not to cry, but we'll see how this goes. It's a short story, right? And one thing God has always blessed me with is education. I was good in school. So our then president had made school mandatory, at least up to middle school, they call it here, for girl child. So I was able to go for free without payment. This is the same girl who goes to school with no shoes. Teachers will buy me uniforms. Other parents will get used. The teachers will ask the other parents, hey, if you have used shoes or used uniform, there's an orphan girl in the school that's really good, doing very well, and we want to keep her in school. So I get the leftovers. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Come on, y'all.
Okay. So fast forward. My auntie has to beg for the elders, meaning, hey, it's time to get married in middle school. My auntie has to beg, but I didn't have to tell, I want to go to school. I'm like they call it here, I'm whooping everybody's ass in school. I'm good in mathematics. This is the same girl from the village whose name is on the papers, in the newspapers, in the city. So I want to be like the city girls talking about high school. So I went to her. Even though she's older than the elders, the male elders, when I mean elders, I mean the male, they make decision. So even though she's older than some of them, she can go and beg. She was like, okay, we'll let her go to high school. I made it to high school. I'm going to high school in the city now, and I'm doing great in school. I'm on the news because my math grades are good. I'm doing debates and quizzes and all of this. Fast forward, just to make this short, college came. Because all the kids in high school talk about college, and if you are from Africa, you know how countries are corrupted, right? Our government is corrupted. You can have a best friend or somebody in your class that you're doing better than, and they get the scholarship, or you don't get it, but you both apply because their uncle's sister's cousin is connected to the government somehow, right? How many Africans do we have here? Exactly. You are nepotism, right? So how do I make it there? I have to be the best. I have to execute. I have to study. I don't have candles. We don't have electricity. We don't have power. I use candles to study. And sometimes, because of the situation of the house, they don't want me to go to school because they see what happened with this kid, where other kids, their kids, are not doing great. So again, physical abuse, all kind of emotional abuse. Sometimes I'll be studying. I'll put water in a bucket, put my feet in just to make sure I don't sleep. I will go to the trash and get the candle wax, get a papaya. I don't know if you guys know papaya tree. If you're African, you know the papaya tree, the leaf has that hold, and I'll put a string in there, melt the candle wax and put it inside there so I can have, those long candles, but they do it fast, so I have to study fast. Everything in my book, I have to know everything so I can compete those city girls. Got a scholarship to go to university. I studied computer science and mathematics. Currently, I'm a data scientist for CDC, so that comes later. But fast forward, going back to that story. Yeah, Gen Z's hard. Going back, my story is getting long, right? I said short story, but I wanted to give you the keyword execution and what that meant. I made it to college. Our country is colonized by the British, so we have the university professors from other European countries do the exchange program. So the computer science program was really strong, and I was good in math, so it made sense. Fast forward in the final semester, I started a nonprofit organization called Girls in ICT, which teaches girls how to code. So at this time, I have an internship at a software company, and in that software company, I will recruit my male counterparts. And I will ask my boss if we can use the used computers and the generator. We'll go to different villages and we teach these girls they've never seen a mouse or created a folder, just so they're entitled, It became popular. I was on the news again. Other regions are doing it. People keep sending me this link and saying, you have to apply for this link. It's a US government program. Obama started it named it after Nelson Mandela. It's called Young African Leaders, Mandela Washington Fellowship for Young African Leaders. I was like, you know what? It's free. I don't have electricity at home, but when I go to work in the city, I have access to electricity. So I applied, went to the interview, did the first interview, and I didn't think I was gonna get it. So I keep going from one interview to the other until the 6th interview at the US Embassy. They picked me out of 40,000 applicants in Africa. Yeah. 40,000 applicants in Africa to study at Northwestern University and meet President Obama in 2016 at DC.
Wow.
So I came and I'm like, I'm not about to meet President Obama, get a certificate from him, meet all Secretary of State, have dinner with the mayor of Chicago to go back and marry some old guy in Africa. I gotta find one.
I know that's right.
So what did I do? Applied different scholarships, and I got a full ride scholarship to do my master's at the University of Illinois, Chicago. And that's how I found real estate. So in my fellowship, they waived my tuition fee, and they give me $1,000 stipend. With that $1,000 stipend, feeding, transportation, housing, everything else comes from there. Because of international students, insurance comes from there. That's a big chunk from that $1,000. Now, even though I have a roommate, my expenses are still high, especially when it comes to housing. So I have to find a cheaper way. I went to the student website and I found other students say, hey, we're looking for 3 other roommates, or we're looking for 4 other roommates. And it's cheaper for me. So what I found out is American parents would go buy a property close to their college, have their kid live in 1 bedroom, and rent out the office. Some would rent the 1 bedroom to 4 international students. Hey, that worked for me. I'm trying to save money. And that's what I did. But my math brain is like, hey, wait, how much is a house? How much is rent? Oh, we're all paying this, and their mortgage is this. Then I went all in on YouTube University on real estate. Fast forward, this orphaned girl who used to sleep on the 3rd floor in Africa in single houses owns 156 rental properties. Execute, and mindset.
I love that. Thank you. First of all, big round of applause for everybody. I appreciate the vulnerability. That's very important. So several of you all brought up something that's very important. It's a mindset shift that has to happen. If you all could just talk about when that light bulb went off for each of you most of us are African. We come from and we see situations of abject poverty. If you're not from it, you've definitely seen it. So there is a abundance mindset and there's a scarcity mindset. At what point for you was that moment where you said, I'm no longer going to live in this scarcity. I'm going to focus on the abundance?
Man, that's a good question. So I went to the military. I was in the Army. And if anybody know military, obviously there's rank structures in the military, right? So you go in and you get different ranks. This one particular day, I was in the I was in our company. We had just did PT, which is working out, and we were in the time frame where we had to change before work started, right? So this is 7, 8 in the morning. This day, I didn't go home. I stayed at the company to shower and change. And so I overhear these 2 E7s. So if you in the Army, E7s are higher enlisted NCOs, right? So these are people who probably been in, let's call it, anywhere between 12 to 15 plus years in the military, and they make it to E7, right? And so when you go E7, there's literally on the enlisted side, there's E7, there's E8, and the highest enlisted is an E9, right? So this is the third man from the top. So these 2 guys were talking in the bathroom while I was in the shower, and one of them asked, he said, hey, you want to go get breakfast? So everybody know a military gets paid in 2 days, the 1st and the 15th.
Yeah.
This was around a payday, right? It was like Friday was probably the 15th. The guy said, hey, I want to go get breakfast. The other guy said, oh man, I gotta wait till payday to pay to eat. And I'm in the shower thinking to myself, like, there was days where I might have to wait to payday and I'm an E4. So we make it to E7 and you still waiting to payday to get breakfast in the morning? It's like, I can't do this. So now I'm looking at it, and you see when you I say follow the money, right? So you follow the money, a colonel, a general, highest paid person in the military, probably makes a little over $200,000 a year. So I was like, we gotta go, right? So I got out of the military, and I think that started my mindset shift from poverty to abundance, right? And I think the bigger thing was I was ready to do something different. And I think we have to be honest with ourselves at the moment that, right? Because mindset happens when you happens, right? Like mindset doesn't activate automatically. It activates after you activate. So once you realize like, hey, we grew up with nothing or poor, or my mom had this or that or didn't have this, right? And it's like, I want something different. You got to know that there's a double-sided coin to everything, right? Just as a heads and tails on every side, just as well as there's light inside the dark. So we got to know, like, when I'm ready to shift, you make the shift. And as soon as I heard, it was little things that, and it's not an overnight thing or it's not a quick fix thing, right? That was one Army story. And we're talking about probably years later where everything started to come together. But these micro, small wins, they compound, and over time you build the success. And so that's what it was for me.
So, abundance. My mindset on abundance comes from faith. But, I'm a big believer in God. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, he restores my soul. He leads me through, does that make sense? Okay, but let me come back. Abundance. I was raised to read Psalm 23. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. From young. So when you read scripture, particular scriptures, and you get conditioned within that scripture, when things happen, you just know you're going to overcome. So why am I saying that? If you don't have the abundance mindset now, you can learn it and you can grow it. But it's also your obligation to learn that, or your kids won't have it.
Say that one more time, brother. I don't think they heard you back there.
If you don't learn that, if you don't have that, it's your obligation to learn it, or your kid won't have it. So my son today is very optimistic because he also reads Psalm 23. But who did that come from? That came from my dad. So let me give you a background story. I came to the U.S. because of the 1994 World Cup. So you guys know the World Cup is coming to the U.S., right? Yeah. The World Cup hasn't been back here since 94. And I'm here because of the World Cup. I'm just gonna throw that there. Just know the World Cup is coming, more people are coming. Get your mind right now. Sharpen your tools. Okay, but let me go back. My dad played in the 94 World Cup. He was the captain of the Nigerian national team, Stephen Keshi. And he was on that Super Eagles team. They also won the African Cup of Nations. Yeah. And I came to the U.S. because of that tournament. So fast forward, my dad took Togo to the World Cup in 2010. And right before the World Cup, he was fired for a European coach. But it didn't stop him.
Yeah.
Me watching my dad, you see, abundance mindset is from example and environment, okay? So he keeps going, okay? Then he starts coaching Nigeria. And then he qualifies Nigeria to the 2014 World Cup in Brazil. And his language was, this is for Africa. Because my dad was very big and outspoken of, we don't need to bring European carpentry workers to out-coach us in Africa. 2015, the National Football Federation, you see what's going on with them, they started getting funding from the Nigerian government, from FIFA, but they weren't spreading it properly. 2016, my mom passed away from colon cancer. 6 months after that, my dad was assassinated by his nephew.
Oh, wow.
Because my dad was gonna start releasing information about how these guys are in pain and what they were supposed to do. Things happen.
Yeah.
My mom passed away, my dad passed away.
Yeah.
And the reason why I got into life insurance is when I heard about life insurance in 2020, I didn't even know what life insurance was, even going through this. So I'm in a battle with the Nigerian government. So I'm fighting the Nigerian government. People will say, man, you just lost your mom or your dad. Why are you fighting like that? Because I was conditioned to fight. So I'm fighting the Nigerian government because they said they were going to pay for his burial ceremony and they pulled out last minute. It cost us thousands of dollars. You know, at the time, we weren't financially where we needed to be. Family members are fighting. But because I keep fighting, we keep fighting, we keep fighting. Today, the Nigerian youth team's stadium in Delta State is named after my dad. Does that make sense? So, people say, man, how do I get from abundance? Number one, you have to be grounded in faith. Because if you're grounded in faith, you can overcome anything. Because faith tells you to believe what you can't see, but what you feel. And if you feel that you could be the biggest person in the world, and you lean on that, and you know God is the only person that can put a vision in someone. So if God is the only person that can put the vision in someone, and the vision is inside you, who put it there? So who is man to tamper with the vision that God gave you? So when you understand that nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
It's just a different path you have to take.
Yeah.
And when you lose in life, it's not a loss, it's a lesson. But it's grounded by faith. So if you don't have it today, you can get it today, but you must get it or your kids won't have it. It's a spiritual battle.
Wealth is spiritual.
Wealth is spiritual, wealth is frequency. Abundance is spiritual frequency. So the moment you can incorporate that and then you add action to it, execution, implementation, you add faith with implementation, you cannot lose. Now, will the timing happen at your time? No, because that's whose time? God's time. But the vision will come alive in due time. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
Really great insight from for all of you. So abundance. My story is a little different, in my opinion, I think. I was blessed to move here when I was 18, came for college from Cameroon. But that's where the story essentially stops. Everything else after that was essentially my own doing. I went to college right here in Atlanta, Georgia State. I don't know if anybody else went to Georgia State, right? Go Panthers, they call? Yeah. Graduated and started working corporate. Joined a regional accounting firm and had somewhat of a success. And I share all those details essentially to say, from my perspective, I had a very simple life. I had a corporate job. My life was somewhat okay, right? I was making decent money. But inside of me, I essentially knew I wanted more. And I wanted more not from envy, not because of jealousy or anything of the sort. I just wanted more because I knew I'm capable of more. The environment that I was in somewhat limited me. I felt like there's only certain things that I can achieve just because that's what I've been given as a job, as a task. Well, once I go home and I have literally 6 hours from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., what do I do? And that's essentially where hunger starts setting in. I start looking into how do I somehow create an activity that will allow me to grow, that will set me up for success in the future. Considering at the time I didn't have any family, and allow me to essentially mingle and network with as many people as I want. Luckily, around the period of 2012 to about 2018, for those who were in Atlanta, there was a lot of networking events in the city. So literally every night there was an opportunity for anyone who wants to network, whether it would be for romance, for business purposes, for simple networking, for them to be out there. And I essentially took advantage of it. Just to give you a measure comparison, when I started my business, and I had my very first business client, I was so scared to mess up the tax return. I charged almost nothing. Just thinking, hey, if it's so bad, they won't, feel horrible about not paying me and they're not going to sue me. That's essentially what my message was. Of course, the story is completely different nowadays. I am proud to demand the fees that I demand, right?
That's right.
So the story for each one of us is essentially different. We all have a unique path because we're all unique human beings. Like our co-host here shared her story. Her story is made for a movie, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I think it's actually made for a movie. But at the same time, it's extremely inspiring, right? The difficulty that I experienced when I moved here have nothing to compare to her story. But at the same time, from my point of view, there were difficulty. And every one of us have to own the story, and they have to look for ways to grow on their own. And as I shared earlier, take a chance. There's always going to be somebody around you who can relate. There's always going to be somebody around you that's been in your shoes. There's always going to be somebody around you that wants to see you succeed, even without knowing you personally. Most of the first client that I was able to sign on, I have zero connection to them. It was purely me introducing myself, telling what I do, what I can do, and them listening to me and say, yes, we're going to give it a chance, and we go from there. So all of you, please take a chance, and it will be very rewarding, and you're not going to regret it. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Okay, so when I started investing, or before I started investing in real estate, a lot of people tell me you can't do it. You live in Georgia. At this time, I'm working for CDC. I'm working from home. And I keep telling my coworkers, and I was carpooling one of these coworkers that I go into work back and forth. And I would tell him about he's worked for CDC for like 20-something years, like expert in what he does. But I'm like, this is not what I want to do. And if you are African and you're the one that make it, and when you come to America or Europe, Africans think money grow on you. Like,
yes, they do.
The aunties, the uncles, everybody want a piece, right? So I'm like, I don't want to do a 9 to 5 and then take that money and send it, right? That money doesn't come back. It has been investment. So when I started, I was like, okay, from the podcasts and all the YouTube videos that I watch about real estate, what they say is start with the local banks. So I was like, okay. I went to school in Illinois. Houses are cheaper in Illinois because it's the Midwest than where I live in Georgia. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start where I saw real estate. My first couple of monthly salary that I saved was about $8,000. So if you're in IT, you know, like the first 6 months, it's like a trial base and they pay you less, right? Because you're working with a recruiter, and then after, if the company likes you, they hire you full time. I saved $8,000 during that period of time. And I started looking at properties in Illinois. And what I found is, okay, I'm gonna make a list of all the banks. Because people keep telling me you can't be in Georgia. Your English is not even that great, your accent, they're not gonna give you my credit score. I remember the first bank I called, they told me your credit score is like a newborn baby. I was like, well, I just got here. What do you expect? But anyways, I started learning about credit score. I was like, the lady was like, all the other banks were like, okay, come back in 2 years, go pay your light bill, card, whatever, and build that credit. I was like, okay, I'll do all of that. Open a Discover card, Capital One, all of that. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to wait 2 years. I keep calling the banks. One lady from the bank, she's now the vice president of that bank, was happened to listen to me. She's like, it sounds like you really want to do this, but to be honest, it does look like you're a newborn. However, go do this and come back in a year, 6 months, whatever. I said, okay, she's close enough. So what I did was I went and did exactly, open a Capital One credit card, do all of that, start paying bills, just so they're happy. I was like, okay, I don't want to give up and I don't want the momentum to go away. What can I do to secure my first property? I went ahead and I was like, if I find a good deal, because at this point when students are doing, spring breaks and have vacation, I'm all in real estate. I put a laptop CDC laptop here and a laptop while I code and also watching real estate video. Just because I don't want it to go away. Because a few years later, while you're waiting, that might go. But listen to people's stories, how they started, the challenges they're facing with their contracts, kind of inspired me, right? So I was like, if I find a good deal, so good that the banks, it's all about numbers. People act like the bank is giving you a favor. No, it's a partnership. You make them money, they make you money. So I was like, if I find a good deal that they can ignore, they will listen to me. So I found this property in the Midwest, and the owners were going through a divorce. So it's like a distressed property. They just want to sell and settle at a loss. Very deep in the divorce. Unfortunately, we don't want that, but those things happen. So I negotiated this property without any money from $75K to $54,000. That's exactly how much they owe the bank to just pay that off and walk away. I called the bank. I said, hey, lady. Name of the lady was Natalie. I said, I found this deal. I put everything on paper, data analyst skills. I put how much is worth, how much my mortgage will be, expected mortgage will be. And I said about it, even if one tenant pay, it will be able to cover my mortgage. This is 3 units, right? I said, unit 1 rents this, unit 2 rents this, unit 3 rent that. I sent it to her. She said, well, I can't guarantee, but I'll give it to the underwriting team. That's the team that checks your documents and everything. And she came back and said, well, they looked at it, they want to give you a chance. A lot of people tell you, oh, you're going to have a 7-something credit score. I was at 5-something, and I got that property. Again, you don't give up. It's the mindset, right? It's a numbers game. They know that this property, 3 units is bringing in almost like $2,000. The mortgage was $300 because it's 54. And my down payment was supposed to be 20%. I negotiated with the sellers to get them to pay my closing costs. So I only paid $8,000 out of pocket. That's all I had, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah. So you don't listen to people. People telling me, I said, okay, what I'm gonna do is stop telling people that, because God gave me this to go and do it. So not that the person doesn't want you to succeed, but their mindset is different. Their mindset of what they know from their fathers or their uncles or the stories around them, that you buy these properties, the tenant is gonna call you 2 a.m. in the morning, all of that. You can't do it out of state. I did it in COVID time, 2020 April is when I closed my first property. Before the year end, I was at 7 units already. The following year, I kept going and I kept going. And don't let people, English. I speak 6 African languages, so English is number 6, so excuse me. People tell you, like, project their fears on you, right? Yeah, well. So fast forward, right? I like saying fast forward, I don't know why. But from building that portfolio to where I am right now, people keep telling me you can't do this. They go from you cannot do this to how did you do it? Can you show me? To, oh, you're starting another business? Now you're not taking loans? I say, yeah, I'm not taking loans anymore. I'm starting a new business where I raise funds and invest with other investors. They say, oh, that's not going to be possible. This is America. You have to use leverage. I'm like, yeah. Not working for me. I don't want to take any debt anymore. I'm going to start a real estate fund. This is big player real estate, like Grant Cardone and all of that. They get a fund. The Jewish people, the reason why they own New York is they have funds. They come together, especially put 1 million, 50,000, everybody put money. and they buy the whole block. And that's what I started. People kept telling me, you can't do it, it's gonna be hard, just go to the bank, just how you keep doing it. In 2 months, we've raised $5.8 million to invest in apartment complexes, 100 plus. So again, it's mindset, it's also don't let people project their fears on you. If other people are doing it, you can do it too. You just scale. I went from buying homes from 30, 40, 50,000 homes to $1 million properties, and I'm gonna continue buying it and not listen to people's fears. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And you have God, like you said, faith and execute in your mindset. And surround yourself with the right people. Like you're here, whether you paid or you were invited to come here, is because you came and you surround everyone next to your neighbor. That's somebody that's gonna inspire you. Listen to their story, and you guys are all here. You're surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So always do that. Whether it's a podcast you're listening to or you're going to a conference event, that is surrounding yourself with the right people. So don't ever give up. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Amazing. A big round of applause. It's a lot of gems getting dropped. So question for you, I want to start with you, Johan, because I know you're a CPA. So I've made my first, let's say, $350,000 a year. I'm on my way. I've got the mindset. I've got the execution. What are the next steps? What should I do in order to not only secure how much I've made, but secure myself and my family's legacy?
That's a great question. And congratulations on making 350,000.
350,000.
350,000. So first of all, you have a good problem. There's a good chance you may end up paying a lot of taxes.
For sure.
So how would you set up 350,000 for success, for wealth building, for legacy building?
Yeah.
The first thing I would do would be essentially take advantage of any existing potential deferral that exists in the organization where you work. So again, to all of you, I'm a tax strategist, I'm a CPA. So my point of view is most likely going to be from the perspective of what can you do to save on your potential tax liability? What can you do to continue to grow your hard-earned income? And what can you do to ensure that from a liability standpoint, you do not find yourself in a bad position? So most of my answers are going to come from that angle, just to share with you. And back to your question. So as I was saying, your first step is to look inside the organization where you work and identify all of the offering that they have in terms of income deferral. So you want to think about income deferral as let me put money away so that I can pay tax on that income in the future when I make less money. When you make $350,000 right now, you are probably at the higher tax bracket. And I believe that bracket is around, 28% right now, give or take. When you do retire, by assumption, that tax bracket for you will go down. You're probably not going to be at the higher tax bracket. You're probably going to be closer to 15 or 20, between 15 and 20%.
Yes.
That will essentially allow you to pay less tax simply by moving from a high tax bracket to a lower tax bracket. What are the different type of deferral that you can look into? The most common one would be your 401k. Most of us are familiar with it. Another good one would be a health saving account. Those are also known HSA. And then a good third one I can look into is what we describe as a backdoor 401k or backdoor Roth account. Again, this is also another financial tool that allows you to put money away. Once you've taken advantage of all those different offerings from your company, then you essentially look into diversifying your income sources. One way to do it is look into investing with real estate, right? And this is the reason why we have this type of panel, this type of conference, where you have the opportunity to meet experienced real estate investor, like on a panel here, who will give you the blueprints of where can you invest right now and what will be your expected return. The great opportunity that real estate offers to high earner is the potential for you to create tax write-off. By investing into a real estate investment, one, most of the rent that you're going to be earning from that investment most likely will be tax-free. And then in addition, depending on how you set up yourself, you will be able to create additional business deduction that will essentially lower your overall taxable income. So remember, we went from that $250,000 at a starting point. Let's say we were able to defer a good $50,000 out of it. Now we have $200,000 left, and then we take another potential $30,000 to $50,000 that we're investing in real estate. Now we only have $250,000 that will be taxable. And then in addition to what I just described, when you have business deduction that come from your real estate activity, you have another potentially $50,000 that you can write off. So we just went from $250,000 in taxable income to potentially only $200,000 in taxable income. So I just give you a blueprint that you can execute today that will allow you to save tax over time. And what do you do with the tax saving? You essentially reinvest it. You put it back in the stock market. If you believe in cryptocurrency, you put in a cryptocurrency investment. If you believe in your friends, family who has great mind and great ideas, you put money in investing in their business and essentially watch your money grow over time.
Wow. I hope y'all are taking notes. It's a lot. You just got free advice from the CPA on this finance.
Listen, I'm gonna say the same thing. But we're gonna build this ladder, and I'm gonna tell you why it's needed, right? Because I love a lot of clients I get are African, and they all have the same story. I make so much money, but I gotta give it away to the government. So I tell them, this is how it works. Simple. This is how money works. Follow the money. You make $300,000 a year. You're a mid-level person that makes a lot of money. Everybody in the middle gets squeezed. That's who pay all the taxes. Poor people receive incentives. Wealthy people avoid taxes. Why? Because you gotta build money. There's only 3 things that you literally can do for your money to make more money. They're all involved investing. You either invest in real estate, you either invest in businesses, or you directly invest in stocks. It don't get no complicated than this. If you meet with a financial planner, they're gonna sell you life insurance, which you need to protect yourself, and be able to have a death benefit when you die. There's many different versions of that though, right? So you can do IULs where you can grow your money and your cash value, all that stuff. That's at the basis of it though, it's a life insurance policy. When you die, the money pass away. The other thing that they're gonna sell you is an investment product, which is gonna be a Roth. Roth is for personal though, right? And it's capped, right? Because when you grow money in a Roth, you can grow it tax-free. When you pull it out, you can pull it out tax-free. What they don't tell you though is your Roth can invest in investment vehicles like real estate, right? Or they'll put you in normal S&P 500 stocks that grow at a 10% year-over-year return. You can make money and grow your money, but if you really want to be astute at it, you're going to need to learn how to pick stocks yourself, which means there's a learning curve you're going to have to overcome. The other thing will be a business, right? Now, all 3 of these things you can there's only 2 ways you can do it. I'm being direct as possible here, so we can be simple on the same page. Everybody follow me so far? There's only 2 things you can do it. You can either do it yourself or you pay somebody else to do it. You just heard her say she's raising a fund for real estate. Businesses raise funds to buy businesses, right? Either one of those is paying somebody else to do it. I'm gonna give you $100,000 for you to go invest my money and I get a return, right? Or you do it yourself. The only 2 things you can do. There's no magic sauce to this. We on the same page? The thing that you have to wrap your head around is when you make $300,000 a year, you're in the middle, like I said. The only way to pay less taxes or to grow your money is to make more money. It sounds crazy, but that's the only thing that you can do. Am I making sense so far? Right. So now we have made money. We got 300,000, we have made money, we have done all the things that a financial planner will tell you to do. Invest into your Roth, your 401k at work, all these, you still got money on the table. The next thing you have to do is become the business owner, the investor. The tax code works for business owners and investors. Why? People like to make capitalists seem bad. But I don't know no other person that probably do the Lord's work better than the business owner. Because if I create an idea and I fund the idea and we make money, I get to help customers by whatever product or service I provide. Now I'm being of service. I get to hire people to help me do that, which means now I'm employing people. So the government gives you incentives on that, right? If I'm in real estate, I get to buy properties and you can partner with the government to put people in there. You're still of service. I don't know no higher calling than entrepreneurship ever. That's the Lord's work. We're in the vineyard doing service to people. We have to rethink how we think about this thing. Am I making sense so far? Yeah. Right? So if I'm making the $300,000, I want to leverage all the stuff I can for my money to make money. Put a percentage to the side for investing. Yeah, you can grow your savings 6 months to a year. As we experience COVID, that's probably the standard right now, a year of just having paid living expenses. But you need your money to make money. The only way it does that is a business, and that's just interchangeable with stocks or real estate. And those are the only things that help you reduce your tax liability when it comes to paying taxes, especially real estate. We all on the same page? And we know why we got to do it. That was my job.
Love that, love that, love that, love that.
What everybody said is right.
They saying a lot of good stuff up here, brother.
I want to dive a little deeper.
Okay.
Can I dive a little deeper with y'all? Yeah. Okay. So, you guys know what inflation is? The average rate of inflation is what? Does anybody know? 3 to 4%. The value of the dollar goes down 3 to 4% every year.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not. But it's been a hike though. So since 2021, we've seen the dollar go down by 24%. So I want you guys to look at this, right? I don't think they're ready for this.
Go for it.
Okay, go for it. It's okay. Inflation. The value of the dollar is doing what?
Yeah.
The cost of living is doing what? The amount of money people are making is doing what? I'm gonna do it over. The value of the dollar is doing what?
Down.
The cost of living is doing what? The amount of money people's making is doing what?
Insane.
So I wanted to add that because what he said was a master class and also him. If you do not find ways to earn more, in the next 12 months, the same income would afford you the lifestyle you have today. There will be no discretionary to invest.
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
If you do not find ways to earn more, the current lifestyle you live in right now, you will not be able to afford it in 12 months. 24 months even worse, 36 months even worse. Sometimes people get too stuck in a way of earning that's capped. And it is uncomfortable to go find ways to earn money, but it's also uncomfortable to be broke. You gotta pick which uncomfortable you want.
Choose your heart.
Okay? So I have to say that, I have to add that. So guys, get uncomfortable, find different ways to earn, okay? And that's why in this building that we're at right now, we've recruited several people in this building right here, and we help them get a license so they can earn more money, right? Because we know people gotta earn more. But life insurance specifically, because I'm in the life insurance space, right? And everything these guys said is right. And there's two different types of savings account everybody should have, but everybody only talks about one type, right? You have your, immediate savings account or emergency savings account or your short term, right? That's 6 to 12 months. God forbid anything happens, you're still able to pay your bills. But you also have your long-term savings accounts, which is for wealth accumulation, retirement, and wealth transfer. If you guys don't notice right now, baby boomers have worked 30, 40, 45, 50 years. They own half of the country's wealth, but they're still going back to work. How is that? So I always tell people, you need at least one account. You need, out of all the accounts these guys are saying, out of real estate, all these things, you need at least one type of thing that's gonna grow and do 4 things for you. Can you guys write these 4 things down? Very important. Number 1 is safety. You need one account, one way to grow your money where you know no matter what any politician does, no matter what any emotional reaction does, no matter what any pandemic, your money is safe. Let me explain why. Because you could work 30, 40, 45 years, and if you only invest in one way, when it's time for you to go retire, and you go in there and half of your money is gone, what do? You're going to work. And we see people do it all the time, because they only invest in one way. Safety is important. The second thing is growth. Because if you're not earning at least 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9% every year, you're actually losing money every year. You're losing money. You're not in a standstill, you're losing money. So that's important. The next thing is access. You want to have access to your funds as you're growing money over time, because you need to be able to leverage your funds to earn more. Real estate is great because you're what? Able to leverage, you're able to borrow, right? And guess what? You don't pay taxes on debt, okay? Life insurance savings grows completely tax-free, but you're also able to leverage it. You don't pay taxes when you borrow, and it's outpacing inflation. Okay, now the last thing is this. What's that thing that they take from your check every time you get paid?
Taxes.
Lord. And then you're gonna take that money. You're gonna go buy something. What do they charge you?
Tax.
And then you're gonna put your money in an account and it's gonna grow. And later when you wanna pull it out, what do they charge you?
Tax.
So most Americans work 12 months and get paid for 9 months.
Yes.
I want you to compound that over the years. So your job is to also find, number 4, an account that avoids taxes. So you need to find an account that's safe, that outpaces inflation, that's accessible, and that avoids taxes. So you have a nest egg that's saved no matter what the market happens. You have something that's outpacing inflation, and you have something that you could get some of that money back you've lost over time. Cash value life insurance is one of those products that you could do that with. There's different types, but there's a life insurance product that has a savings account attached to it. It's called cash value. And there's an IRS code, write this down, 7702A and 72E, that allows you to grow money tax-free and transfer money tax-free. Huh? Yes, 7702A, 72E. It allows you to grow money tax-free and transfer money tax-free, and it also comes with a death benefit that transfers to your family tax-free if anything happens. Man, when you could learn how to mirror your 401k, right? Take those advantages while you're living, add a little bit of Roth, add a little bit of cash value, add a little bit of real estate, add a little bit of crypto, because you do want to start phasing into crypto. You're starting to see they're going to start tokenizing assets. There's a reason why Donald Trump is the #1 owner of Bitcoin right now. You got to pay attention to what's going on. So you have to diversify. And I want to give you guys a team of people that you need on your side right now. Write this down. Everybody in this room, I need you to start intentionally finding this team. You need an accountant. You need a tax specialist, tax attorney. You need a financial advisor. You need a life insurance specialist. They're financial advisor, life insurance specialist are 2 different things. They focus on 2 different things, and you need someone who can lead you in a real estate game. If you have a team of those 5 people that you trust, that are showing you results, you can't go backwards in this wealth game. So you have to equip yourself with the right team. With that being said, I'm gonna do a shameless plug, okay? Life insurance, we specialize in that sector. Those ladies back there, can you raise your hand? Those are some of our top agents in the brokerage right there that are probably collecting your data earlier. We do complimentary educations all the time. We do educations in here. We do wealth building exercises in here. For you guys who are looking to do events, let me know. The space is available. But we like to do forums like this so people can learn more about how to diversify their portfolio. So I'm going to repeat myself again. Understand that if your money is stagnant, you're actually losing money. And understand that you have to diversify your portfolio to get accessibility advantages and tax advantages, and you have to outpace inflation, okay?
Amazing. Luckily, y'all, I've already built my team. I have my real estate, I have my wealth management, I have my life insurance business, and my CPA.
Add a banker to it.
Right. So many gems and drops. So I'm gonna come in the area of real estate. So everything they say you should have, right? However, if you're gonna be invested in real estate, if you're a first-time real estate investor, this is your first time, and you have 300K. Going back to, I feel like before they done, I forgot what the answer is. My pregnancy brain. The question, sorry. So this is what I would do if I go through the CPA, I go through everything they say, and I have a couple of thousands or 200,000 left at this point, depending on the state that you live in. Most Americans, this is what they don't know. You actually have the right to get your private home, whether it's a single family, a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex. A single family is a normal 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom home. A duplex with 2 units, 2 family, whether it's 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom here, 3-bedroom here, 2 families, 3 families, a triplex, and a quad. You can actually put a down payment on a 4-unit property. You live in 1 unit and you rent out the other units. So if you're not able to find a 4-unit, whether you found a duplex, you live in 1 unit, the rent coming from the other unit can pay your mortgage, so you're literally living rent-free. And you keep saving the money that you have from your W-2 or whatever job you're doing to buy another one. So you can live in that property for 1 year and then you can move out, right? And then you can rent that place out if you want to. These are different ways, different strategies to get into real estate. That's one of the easiest ways for if you work and live in the US. Most people don't know this, right? And again, education is very important. When you buy and sell something, let's say you make 100K by selling something. Of course, before you get the money, you still have to pay taxes. In real estate, if I buy a property in real estate, and let's say I buy it for 100,000 for numbers' sake, and I sell it for 200,000. If I take that profit and buy real estate, I delay taxes. I don't pay any taxes. So what rich people do is they keep taking the money and rolling it into more real estate and taking the cash flow, buying more real estate. Guess when are they gonna pay taxes? When they die or their kids take over that property. That's how Donald Trump doesn't pay any taxes or pay little taxes, and people are mad. He didn't write the tax code. That's how it's written. It's written for the wealthy people. So for us to tap into that, you have to educate yourself. You have to know all of these loopholes. Oops. Loopholes.
I got you.
Oh.
I got you. Hold
Okay.
on. Whoa. We lost our mics. 1 second. Lost our mics. It died. Mics
The
are
only
off.
lady, and this is what they do.
We're going to have to project. 1 second. I think we're getting new mics. Sorry if you grab those mics. Perfect. We got new mics. I remember the last thing you said. We're going to come back to that.
I forgot.
You said you have to remember the tax code.
Oh, the tax.
Thank you. Do we have 2 of these? Yeah. All right. Swap them.
So taxes are very
Let me get that.
important.
Get that.
The only way to defer taxes, and the fastest way, the easiest way to defer taxes is in real estate. So what do I do with my money? I don't want to see a 200,000, 500,000 in my bank account invested just sitting there. I'm just looking mentally on a property. Because guess what? I'd rather have 100,000 in a rental property that pay me $3,000 rent than have that in the bank and give me 0.0% on that money. Does that make sense? So always make sure you invest your money. Like I said, if you sit in an account, you're not going to make anything. So that's my advice in this round.
I love that. You guys are getting free gems. A big round of applause. We're still going. 1 second. So, I want to talk to you all. I see everybody here is married, hopefully happily, but we won't discuss that because that's not our business. I want to know, when you are building wealth, what are some strategies that you have to encompass your partner, and how do you all grow together?
So for me, I'm a man. So everything I do, I run through my wife.
Say that one more time.
Everything I do, I run through my wife. So we literally, she's like an spoken business partner, all the things, right? Most people say, hey, surround yourself with these different people who are doing that. Sometimes you probably think way better than most people who who you think might be doing something, right? So I spend a lot of time networking, but also secluded. So I talk with her a lot, and everything is a partnership, right? I mean, my wife works, we got kids, so we're in communication with how we move and act and what we do. And I learned to always run things through, right? Because when I don't listen, shit happens. When I do listen, everything is good, right? So that's what I do. Outside of this, what we are building together naturally, she helps me think and execute on things.
So, there's a lot of foundational things that have to happen in a relationship before it can progress. One thing for sure is, if you're in a relationship right now, have you guys ever sat down and had a mastermind? You're like, what the fuck talking about?
You said a mastermind?
Mastermind.
Yeah.
So one of the things we did first year and a half together, we went to Chateau Long, we had a mastermind. So what are your values and principles?
Mm-hmm.
What are your values and principles?
Mm.
How would you act as a parent? How would you act as a parent? What do you believe is good parenting? What do you believe is bad parenting? What's your vision for yourself? What's your vision for yourself? Where do you see yourself going? Where do you see yourself going? How do you deal with money? How do you deal with money? How do you deal with anger? How do you deal with anger?
I'm with you.
The core has to be right. So it's like, building a skyscraper on shaky grounds if you don't do that in the beginning, right? So we've been together for 7 years. It feels like it's been 1 year because we started right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's very easy right now. It's very much so a business relationship and a friendship combined. And she's in the business with me. That's her office right there. It's a pink one. She likes pink. But we built this business together, but it's also a constant reinvention of each other.
Yeah.
You can never let one outpace the other in knowledge. So the books that I read, she reads. The conferences I go to, she goes to. And not everybody works the same, so this is not a general kind of conversation. This is what's worked for us. Whatever works for you works for you. This is work for us, but we go to all conferences together. We build a business together. We read the same books together. We listen to audio together. So we're constantly developing our minds together. So our conversations are always evolving. And we're always restructuring our vision for what we want our life to be so we can stay in excitement mode. Because the biggest generator in life is clarity.
Yeah.
People get tired because they lack clarity. I don't ever feel exhausted because we're clear on where we want to go. So having those conversations where they're real, they're cutthroat, they're honest, and making sure you're doing that all the time will keep you in a position where you're constantly going towards the goal. And that's the advice I would give couples, whether they're in business together or not. Those foundational questions have to be asked. You can't avoid it.
Great comment regarding being married, relationship in general. And as I was listening to the both of you, I got inspired to drop another gem to the audience here. So, for any of you that are currently in a relationship where you're not married, but you are engaged or you are serious about getting a couple with your partner, you may want to look into, again, recent investments. One of the easiest and best strategies to grow your portfolio literally overnight is to allow each one of you as an individual to buy a property before you get it out. So if you want to think about it, once you're married and you both buy a property, both of your name go on the deed, on the application, and therefore you essentially are qualifying for a loan amount that's gone. But if you were to do it before you get married, then one property can be your primary home, and your second investment can be an investment property. And when you get married, then you are having two properties, one where you live, another one where you put a So that's not just for the night in regard to relationship. Okay? But back to your question, how do I work with my wife, and how do I leverage our relationship? Like those gentlemen share, it's a constant communication. engagement. And personally, I'm extremely lucky that my wife has a very similar background as I do. She's also a CPA, but she does focus more on the accounting bookkeeping side of things. So we work a lot together in the sense where I bring in a lot of businesses, high net worth clients, and if any of them needs accounting and bookkeeping service, well, guess what? They talk to my wife. So a lot of times there's a lot of work that is taking place as a family, a lot of strategies that are taking place as a family. And we have 3 beautiful daughters. So as you can imagine, some of that knowledge is also being passed on to them. If not the principle of hard work, the principle of investing time and things that matter, but just making sure that as a family we continue to grow our legacy and we continue to build our future.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so my story is a little different. My husband is not a risk taker. He's a software engineer, quiet. All my real estate portfolio I own. He doesn't know anything real estate, nothing. But as women, we talk you into it. Like you're at work, you have to listen to all my contractor story. This contractor called me a bitch. This happened. You know, listen to it. I always involved, right? So anyway, so when I started, like I said, out of state, he's like, I even didn't know he's a contractor. He listens to me. He knows I'm crazy, but he's like supportive, but like, when you support me, I'm gonna do it. This is not that came from nothing, right? I gotta get somewhere. So anyways, to answer your question, in my situation, at the beginning, there was no support because we didn't believe in my, if you tell somebody who just came to the US just 2 years later, wants to go out and and buy this, it's risky, right? But I knew in my guts, like, this is what I want to do. I knew work. I'm a numbers person. I run my numbers. I've done the reverse. Worst case scenario, I want to try it, right? So at the beginning, it's like, this is not going to work. You can't buy property with $50,000 out of state. The property manager's going to do this. Which the contractors did, but the property manager could steal. But at the end of the day, I learned from it, use that and scale. So fast forward, one property bringing in 1,200, then another property 2,000. Then I was like, oh, now I'm going to start renting to travelers because I'm in the medical field. Oh, that's not going to work out. How you going to manage them? There's going to be check-ins and check-out out of state. I did it. Went all the way to getting contracts with companies where I take 30 people from one company, like Comcast. They're working in this area for 2 years, and I house them in a 12-unit apartment that I built, or a 20-unit apartment that I built. They see the money coming in from 2,000. This is like 10 to 15 to 100K. It's like, damn, here, take my money, do it for me too. And then I take this money and invest in it. And all he does is every month, I give him the cash flows. Like, this is good. Did the nurses pay? Oh, the nurses are property paying. What happened? And I'm like, calm down, the money's gonna come. So then the support started coming, like, because it's not like the person doesn't want you to succeed, they don't see the vision. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's how my story is. But now he trains in real estate, like, if I give you this, how can I get it? So that's how it is now, right? So that's, I guess, my story of like how I involved in partnering.
That is amazing. As you can see, oh yeah, I got you.
Just very important because she mentioned something that's very important, and I hope people pay attention to that. If you're in a relationship, usually there's one person that has a bigger vision than the other. Don't feel discouraged when the other person doesn't support. But if you're the person with the bigger drive, you have to show the proof of your results. So the only thing that's going to recruit that person to your vision is your results. So if you're the driven person, just know that just like anything else in life is going to be some barriers in the beginning, but the result will open things up. So you just got to know that going into. Don't just say, I don't want to be with this person anymore because they don't see my vision. The vision was given to who?
To you.
You. It's your job to show your results. Okay?
That was amazing. A big round of applause really quickly. That was amazing. As you can see, these career paths are not unilateral. These stories are not unilateral. They take shape and form in a lot of different ways. So I want all of you to remember that. So I wish we had time for questions. Unfortunately, we don't, but I do want you to give all of our speakers a huge round of applause. I presume that you all are sticking around for a little bit so people can ask you questions on the floor as we go around. We're gonna take a quick little musical break, and then we're gonna go to our next portion. But thank you all, and thank you to the speakers once again.
Hey, what up, fam? This is Sar Levy, host of Africans in Tech, where we're building bridges and shaping futures in tech. Just a quick reminder for those who've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. You can catch all of our content, including our whiteboard sessions, where you'll find our full-length videos on our channel. And hit that notification bell, fam. All right?